Hey guys, what's up? This is Mel, and I'm here to talk about The Flash, this time episode 207, titled Guerrilla Warfare, which premiered Tuesday, November 17th, 2015 on the CW, and it's pretty much 2 a.m. for me right now, so there is a big chance that this won't be posted tonight, but probably next day, so just fair warning. But I wanted to record this before I went to bed, just so that you could still get my instant reaction to the episode. So with that said, reminder, if you haven't seen the episode, please do so before you watch this video. I'm going to be spoiling a lot of it. I always do in these videos, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news in some cases or ruin the surprise for you. So go watch the episode first. I haven't read the comics at all, so anything I know about The Flash is whatever they told us on the show, and that's about it. So with that said, 10-minute clock, and let's get started. So what is something new that we learned in this episode? Basically, Barry struggles with his recovery from Zoom's attack in the previous episode, although it seems the trouble is more of a mental issue, as all of Barry's tests show him healing on schedule for his accelerated healing. So there's nothing physically wrong with him or preventing him from being the Flash. It's just Zoom got to him in his psyche, and it's messing with him, and so that's where the problem for Barry is in this episode, is trying to break through that new barrier that's preventing him from being the hero the city believes him to be. More on the episode focus, it features the return of Gorilla Grodd, who we didn't see, or last time we saw was the very end of the previous season. I think it was episode 20, I'm not sure. But he basically comes back, and he wants to create more like him, as Cisco says, his own kids in some way. So he tries to get a bunch of scientists in his control, but he ends up getting Caitlin into the fold and trying to get her to recreate what they did to him, so that there could be more gorillas like him, so he's not the only one. So there's that, and the Flash team has to focus on trying to get Cisco back and trying to stop Grodd from not only making more of him, but destroying the city as well. And did anyone else get like a King Kong vibe, especially when it was Grodd and Caitlin in the same scene together? It really gave me that vibe. I'm wondering if anyone else got that too. Another thing about this episode was that Cisco, fortunately he has a date with Kendra from Jitters. Unfortunately, every time they touch, he gets a vibe vision off of her, and it's in the form of people with wings, assumed to be Hawkman and Hawkgirl. The first time he does it is when she just brushes his hand, and he gets a vision of a man with wings. He tells Caitlin about he's gushing over it, and that's before Grodd came back into the picture. And then later on, when he's trying to make up for the fact that he kind of had to run out on their date, Kendra kisses Cisco, and this time he gets visions of a woman with wings. Now, as an audience member, and knowing who Kendra is based off the Legend of Tomorrow spin-offs, I know she's Hawkgirl, and I know that vision is meant to be her, but I'm wondering if Cisco makes that same connection or not, or if he's just assuming because, I touched her, I got the vision from her, then that means this vision must be of her. So I'm wondering if that's the case. So most shocking moment of the episode, it was just a minor thing for the first one, is that back on Earth 2, basically the fight with Gorilla Grodd is basically sending him to Earth 2, and the specific breach that they pushed him through basically lands Grodd in a rainforest where all the other experimented gorillas from Earth 2 are roaming free in the rainforest. And I guess what surprised me is the fact that not only were the surrounding mountains carved in the shape of gorillas, but there are like these cabined village. It's like a village of cabins at the bottom of that mountain valley. So it seemed like he pretty much landed in a gorilla village, basically. Although we don't see any gorillas, but the fact that there are statues in cliff shapes into gorillas, it's only assumed that there's more than one for sure. And I kind of feel bad for people of Earth 2, unless they stay in their rainforest. But isn't that how Planet of the Apes started at all? I don't know which came first, the comics or the Planet of the Apes movies. The original ones, that is. So just let me know in the comments. But I'm interested to see that or know that. Okay, so most shocking of Earth 1 was Cisco's Vive visions. I'm still trying to... It's my understanding that Cisco's Vive visions, if he touches someone from Earth 1, then he's going to see visions of their Earth 2 counterpart. Is that correct? Or is it always going to be whatever he touches on Earth 1, whether they're from Earth 1 or not, then he's going to see visions of Earth 2? I'm kind of confused by that because I thought Cisco's Vive visions had to deal with timelines. And I'm not sure if the whole Earth 1, Earth 2 thing is considered to be separate timelines, since they're considered to be separate worlds. Maybe. I don't know. If you could clarify the whole premise behind Cisco's Vive visions, I'd really appreciate that in the comments below. But yeah, so if that's the case, if he's seeing visions of Kendra and they're supposed to correlate to the her of another timeline, in this case Earth 2, and it shows that she's Hawkgirl, that means it's either like a Linda Park and Dr. Light scenario where one version is human and one version is a metahuman, and that's the same case for this Kendra and Hawkgirl, or Kendra of our Earth hasn't become Hawkgirl that Earth 2 seems to have achieved already. I don't know. It's one of the two, but yeah, I can't tell if Cisco has automatically assumed that the Hawkgirl in his vision is actually Kendra, who he just kissed. So there's that. And that's why it's my shocking moment, because it's kind of my confusing moment too. So top 3 favorite moments. I got a few actually. First one is Harry Wells impersonating Earth 1 Dr. Wells, Eobard Thawne, Reverse Flash. Just the fact that he was trying, it's very... What I like is the distinct difference between the two. I mean, yeah, you see it in the informal behavior of Harry Wells in the previous scenes, but like when you see that flip between the two, like immediately in the scene, like he does when he's Harry Wells trying to pretend to be Eobard Thawne, and even Cisco's coaching him to do that. I just really like that distinction that we see within the scene, instead of like already theoretically knowing that these are supposed to be two separate people. I don't know, I just really like that. I just really like contrast like that, especially if it's one actor playing the two parts. It's great to just see that that range of acting, I guess you can say. It kind of reminds me of Vampire Diaries with Nina Dobrev playing Elena and Catherine and Tatiana Amar. You see all these different types. Or Orphan Black, where Tatiana Maslany is playing all Sarah, Allison, Cosima, Helena, Rachel, all these different clone versions. It's whenever you see them pitted against each other, or a scene that allows you to see two or more versions of what that actor is playing, it's very cool to see. I'll just leave it at that. Next favorite moment has to be when Barry's father, Henry, returns to help Barry get through his mental block after what happened with him and Zoom. I just like how, not that I don't like how Joe was being supported, but it really showed in this episode how whatever Henry has gone through in the past, being convicted of killing Nora, and what that did to him, it made him the perfect person to get through to Barry. I really like that, and just the fact that he returned was great to see, because I originally thought he was going to stay in town once he got released from jail, but apparently he's off camping and taking things slowly now that he's a free man. So there's that. And also another Henry connected moment was the little photo moment. I really like that scene where Henry's seeing old photos of Barry that Joe and Iris and Barry have kept, and they're just bonding over those memories and sharing them with Henry since he wasn't able to be there in person to experience it. So I really like that family moment. I'm glad it wasn't cut out of the episode because it may seem like it doesn't serve a purpose in the main storyline, but I really like they added it in. It shows a family moment. It shows that Henry is still trying to catch up to what Barry's been through and all the years that he's missed, and it's not done in a very sad undertone, I guess you say. They're happy to relive those fond memories, and I really like that. Favorite moment, it was a last minute thought, but it was when Cisco really? There's an alarm. I can't believe I'm done. Okay, but this one is that Cisco gets to learn about his date with Kendra, and that scene in particular, it's with Barry, Joe, and Iris. That's when they find out that he has a date with Kendra, and Cisco's trying to play it cool, but then Barry is just subtly poking fun. He's like, really? Is like making doubting comments or joking comments to Cisco, and Cisco's too nervous to even realize that they're joking until like Joe points it out, or Joe's trying to hold back a laugh. I really like that playful, joking banter between them for sure on such a moment that everyone relates to. Us as the audience would relate to those nervous dating jitters. And so it's not just like it's just something that only superheroes deal with. That type of moment everyone deals with, getting jokes from friends for being nervous to begin with, or hoping things will go well, but kind of dreading if it messes up somehow. It's like any of those worries at all. I really like that it was incorporating just this little. It's just moments like that. I really like it. It's not so. It reminds us that they aren't just superheroes. They're also people too. So there's that. Top 3 peeved moments. I actually cannot name one. I don't. Nope. I was fine with this episode. Nothing wrong with it. No confusing questions that were left unanswered. Concepts I don't count because that time traveling is already involved, so that's confusing enough. So what will I remember most about as I look back for this episode? It's the aftermath of Zoom. So Barry's still trying to deal with that fact. So there's that. The fact there's a big, massive gorilla, kind of hard to forget. So there's that too. So random questions quickly. First one. So on Earth 2, does that mean there are 2 telepathic gigantic gorillas roaming around the rainforest, or could there possibly be more? Because I'm assuming if there's one giant gorilla on Earth 1, there was one on Earth 2. But if there's one on Earth 2, then they did a lot of progress in that little rainforest village there. But Dr. Wells made it sound like there was more than one giant gorilla. So I'm just wondering, curious. And if he's back on Earth 2, I wonder if we'll ever see Grodd again at all on Earth 1. Next question. What about Gideon? We still haven't seen that futuristic invention since the team discovered it last season. So I'm just wondering why they haven't utilized it or where they've stored it. Because they seem to be bringing out the Reverse Flash's ring in his suit, which they used in this episode. But what about Gideon? Gideon would be like a very valuable asset to have, for sure. And not even just to have a bit of a hint about the future. Sure, Gideon can give that, but Gideon can offer so much more than that. If they wanted to, they could tell Gideon to not to say anything about the future and just help them in the present, if that makes sense. Last question. If Cisco got a vibe vision from Kendra, I already asked this before, but does that mean it's her Earth 2 counterpart that's Hawk Girl? And can Cisco tell from the vision of Hawk Girl's Kendra, or is he just going to make the assumption that it's her? It's basically, I've brought it up earlier. I just wanted to repeat it for random questions. But yeah, I'd love to know. So quickly, predictions. So there are no new episodes next week because it's Thanksgiving in the United States. So it's actually, I believe it's a rerun of the season 2 premiere that's airing next Tuesday. But the Tuesday afterwards, December 1st, episode 208 is the part 1 of the crossover event with Arrow. It's like last year, it's the 2-hour, 2-night crossover event. Flash part 1, next day is Arrow part 2. And in 208, they introduce Vandal Savage and Hawkman. And then we get to see the return of Oliver Queen and his team to the Flash side of this superhero universe. So that's going to be fantastic to see. The trailer, the promo for that is already up. Check it out for sure. It has me hating the fact that I have to wait two weeks to go watch it or to go see it, because it seems to be action-packed. Thea is shown, Laurel is shown, the Arrow Cave is shown, Oliver and Felicity's apartment is shown. So I'm assuming it's a trailer for both part 1 and part 2. Unless they actually show that. Well, I guess so, because in the synopsis says that Barry takes someone to Star City as his way to ask Oliver for help. So I don't know. We'll have to watch and see. But we definitely see the Flash suit in the new Arrow Cave costume displays, which is pretty cool. Let's just say that I'm very excited for this crossover event. I always love these things, and this Supernatural and the Flash. Why do I say Supernatural? Shoot, Arrow and the Flash, dude, did a fantastic job of crossing these two shows together and continuously reminding us that they are two shows in the same universe. So that's just fantastic. I know why I say Supernatural, because I usually write Supernatural and Arrow crossover fan fictions. That's why, so bear with me for that. So predictions of the Flash, solo Flash. I think we'll see Zoom again, but probably not until 209, since that's the winter finale. Because I highly doubt that the show would bring Zoom in for the crossover episode. Vandal Savage is who they're going to deal with. I think it's because they might plug in some Legends of Tomorrow spin-off stuff in the crossover event. So maybe that's where the focus is going to be. So anything having to do separately with Zoom or anything having to do separately in Star City won't necessarily be the focus in the crossover event. So all that would have to be pushed to episodes 209 and 409 respectively. So just keep that in mind as my prediction for that. Next prediction and last prediction is that Dr. Wells and Cisco, or Harry and Cisco, will continue to find a way to close the breaches. Their latest plan is to close 51 of the breaches. That way the 52nd breach is the one that Zoom is forced to use to travel between the two worlds. It's kind of like leading him into a trap. So they have to figure out a way to close those breaches now. And I think that it might take a while, a few episodes, which could span a while for them, especially with the winter break coming up. But I think they're definitely going to test it out quite a few times. We may even see one of those tests. Maybe it'll fail or something. Maybe it'll work. Who knows? And they'll work on the microtech involved with the Reverse Flash's ring. Ali got the suit in the ring and stuff. I think they're going to try to figure that out too, to try to help Barry out with that, help give that tech to Barry in his suit. So there's that. We saw a bit of Patty and Barry, so there's going to be some growth between them. Patty's suspicious though, so she might learn Barry's secret pretty soon. So that's an issue. We haven't seen Francine West in a while, especially after the last time we saw her, we learned that Iris has a brother. So if anything, they might come up in the winter finale, just because it might be the holiday episode, the Christmas episode, I guess. And what better way to bring in the holiday than welcome new family members? So there's that. So that's about it. So what did you guys think of the episode? Was it what you expected? Did you think that they handled it like you thought they would? It's probably the same question. I don't know. I'm tired. I'm sorry. But let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear about it. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, check out my other videos, and to share this with all your other friends in the Flash family verse, and spread the word around, get this fan base growing. Let's keep this ball rolling for as long as possible. It'd be fantastic. If you want any more news, whether it's promos, sneak peeks, casting news, episode synopses, dialogue GIFs, comparison GIFs, any GIFs in general, I reblog all that to my Tumblr. Links for that will be down below in the description box. Yeah, so just check it out, especially with the crossovers. I have a link for just the crossovers, or you can just check out the individual episode itself, so 208 or 408 for the upcoming stuff. But if you want this episode, just check 207 on my Tumblr. It's easy to find. Check out the master list, link below as well. So yeah, easy access for you guys there. And that's about it. Yep, that's about it. Okay, so I guess you have to wait 2 weeks. So until then, this is, I guess until next month, because that'll be December 1st. So until then, this is Mel wishing you all a great Tuesday. Have a happy Thanksgiving to all those celebrating it next week. And just stay safe, everyone. This is Mel saying bye.